course, social services, something the county has a lot of responsibility for. What do you think of the services, programs, the facilities like the MAC that the county currently runs to help out the poor and homeless folks? Do you think they're being effective? And what would you like to see done further to try to get folks off the streets and back into affordable housing and back into a more sustainable livelihood?
Yeah, they don't. I think that they're doing the best with what they have. You know, my sister's a social worker for the Eureka tribe, and so I get a little bit of insight on, you know, how the whole system works. And you know, for a lot of people, it's a vicious cycle from family to family, and so it's a tough business there too. I mean, I don't know if there's any easy answers for any of it. For affordable housing, I think there is some answers. You know, they have different ways that they can get more affordable housing. They can, you know, inclusionary zoning is a piece of what Humboldt County does now. They can also have rehab money. You know, there's a lot of houses. If you can get somebody into a house, it's a blighted house, and you can give them money to fix it up. They get into the house cheap, get a house fixed up, you get a homeowner, and they, you know, I think that fixes the problem. Instead of having a blighted house, now you have a nice house with a homeowner in it that's going to take care of it. So there's also something I'm looking into is the park model homes. Humboldt County doesn't count park model homes as low-income housing now, and you know, there's other communities that do. So I think that needs to be looked into to see, you know, if you can get someone into one of those, you could, you know, it could make a big difference on how much it costs. You know, and I think that we also need to, we have an aging population as well. They're going to need more single-room homes. They're going to need easy access homes. So, you know, I think that needs to definitely be on the radar for when we're looking at future housing. And another thing I think is, you know, it's not always new housing or home ownership that's affordable housing. There's also people who rent. So we need to make sure that the rentals, there's a healthy amount of rentals out there that are single room. You know, we need to support HSU and, you know, with their housing projects and their master plan. You know, their master plan has more homes, more housing for students being built. And you know, the more housing you're building for students, the less pressure it takes off the community to for when they're out looking for homes. So I definitely think Humboldt needs to be supported in their efforts in implementing their plan. So I think there's a lot that can be done with affordable housing, and it's a cornerstone of my campaign.
Get into a political reform. Obviously, there's been calls both in your race and in the 4th District race for some sort of campaign finance reform, campaign contribution caps. Obviously, Measure T was an abysmal failure and didn't really solve anything. What would you like to see in terms of campaign finance reform and also electoral reform? Would ranked choice voting be a helpful way to get this election over with in one round instead of two? Ideas like that.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Because yeah, I mean, you have to spend a lot of time raising money and to get your message out. You know, so if there was caps on it, you know, it would definitely give you a lot more time to go and meet people and get your message out a different way than raising money and putting newspaper ads in. And you know, it'd be more of a grassroots thing. And you know, I think that would be great for me since I've lived here my whole life. You know, my family's been here most of their lives, and so I would be all for that. I think that you know, I think there's too much money in it now, and I don't like it, but it's the game that's played right now, and you just have to do it. So, but I'd love to see it changed.
And term limits. Do you think some folks on the board have been there too long? Would a 2-term limit be something you'd like to see or you'd like to commit to if you do end up winning?
I mean, term limits are tough for me. It's ultimately up to the voters. If the voters want you there, then you're there. If the voters don't want you there, they vote you out. So, you know, I've been on the Rancheria Tribal Council for 14 years, and I think that you know, I've won my elections by a pretty healthy margin, and I think it's because they want me there. They think I'm doing a good job, and it's, you know, do some people need to go sometimes at the state level or stuff like that? Then I think sometimes it's okay with me. A lot of money gets involved and they get entrenched, and it's a way to get people out. But ultimately, for me, it's the voters. You know, the voters voters have all the power when it comes to elections. So
Mm-hmm.
if they don't like the way things are going, it's real easy to check a different box.
What's your opinion of how media is playing a role in who's hosting what interview or what debates, and how Mr. Cleary basically owns a radio station that's producing a debate and is working with a newspaper that's closely related to that radio station. Even had the editor of that newspaper had a show on that radio station, and how that all plays into it.
For me, going on a debate on his radio station is a clear conflict of interest, and that's why I decided not to do it. Is because I just felt strongly that if you own a radio station, you shouldn't have to debate on your radio show. So it doesn't matter who's moderating it. It's there's a potential conflict of interest, and I recognize that. I wouldn't have a debate at the casino for that same reason. And so just I felt strongly about it, and I'm gonna have to stick to my morals on that one.
Anything else you'd like to share with the voters as they head to the polls on June 8th?
I just want to thank everybody for going out and voting, and if they want to get a hold of me, they can go to my website at sundbergforsupervisor.org, and all my contact info is on there. If they have any specific questions they want to ask me, I'd love to answer them. And thank you for having me today.